So the industry of default allow and default deny is defined, I think, a lot more easily than people think of it. So the antivirus industry was built on this notion of knowing something and stopping something once I know about it. But the notion of default allow is, what do I do with an unknown file? What do I do with something that I've never seen before? And the entire industry, I mean, I'm only aware of 2, maybe 3 companies in the entire world that look at an unknown file and say, if it's unknown to me, I don't allow it to execute. So by definition, the entire antivirus industry is allowing you to be infected. Because if you understand the problem with malware, all malware starts as an unknown file. Default deny is a totally different approach, and it's really just that simple, right? It's, if I've never seen it before, I don't allow it to run with unfettered access on a machine or on my network until I've determined it. Maybe I don't ever allow it at all if it's unknown. Or I don't allow it to run until such time as I know it to be good. At the end of the day, it's a very simple problem. Malware is nothing more than good code out to do something bad to a machine. Ironically, security companies for 20 years have been providing these solutions, possibly even longer than 25 years. And at the end of the day, there's not a security company in the world that's willing to raise its hand and say, as a security company who's been doing this for a very long time and seen everything in the world, I am going to let you know whether this is good or this is bad. When you talk about submitting malware to an antivirus vendor, what you're doing is saying, I have been infected. I am now aware of this. Would you please write a signature so that I won't get infected anymore? And that's the difference, quite honestly, with Komodo. We're the first company that I am aware of that's created a system, a verdicting system, that takes an unknown file, puts it in a containment until such time as we can evaluate its behavior enough to tell you with certainty whether this file has malicious intent and you should delete it, or it doesn't and you should allow it to go. So our platform has a number of different products to it. So what I've been describing is an advanced endpoint solution, which uses a cloud-based verdicting system. So you do some of the inspection at the endpoint. If the verdicting requires more analysis than we're able to do at the endpoint while keeping it efficient, because you don't want it to impact the user and the usability, we send it to the cloud to do much deeper inspection. We have a secure web gateway that actually will look at files coming onto the network and do the same level of inspection. And if we find that those are problematic, we wrap them in what's called a portable container, so that when they get down to where they are, if you're an unknown file, you're not allowed to run with unfettered access anyway, because we haven't seen you before. So we've got the endpoint covered with really deep inspection. We've got the ingress point covered. For insider threat, that's more of an east-west. If they're already in there, what we have is a monitoring tool we call C-Watch, right? And it's threat and breach detection. You apply sensors to your network. And what the sensors do is they model patterns of behavior, and then they look for anomalies in that behavior. And there's deep intelligence behind it built into a SIM that we offer with this. And what it does is it looks for things like, are you sending traffic to an IP address that we know to be a command and control center? Well, that would indicate bad behavior. You need to shut that endpoint down or take it off the network. Are you sending out a lot more traffic than you normally would? Is traffic coming to you from a set of IP ranges that we know to be malicious? So there's a lot of indicative behavior without knowing a compromise has occurred that you can glean from network-based traffic, and then you can react to that. Ultimately, the idea is to take that endpoint off the network, clean the device, and then put our software on it. So, the really good thing about Komodo, and I've been doing this quite a long time, is it's the only company I know of that has built all 3 products. And this is the recommendation of any analyst, it's the recommendation of any CSO. Intelligence sharing and interoperability are absolutely critical. But we're the only company I know of that actually has an endpoint, a secure web gateway, and a monitoring tool, all built by a single engineering team that all work together to keep you safe. So it's the first real advanced malware protection platform that I'm aware of that covers the entire network infrastructure. So that's what we're really excited about.